Hello, welcome to the Millennial Misses Podcast. I am your host, Trinae Watson, and I am super duper excited. Super duper. I'm always super duper excited. What else is new? But I'm super duper excited that this month we are showcasing the amazing Megan Ewing.
Hi.
I had the privilege of knowing two Megan Ewings. How many Megans do you know?
That is pretty cool that there are multiples of us.
I love it. I love it. Tell me all the things about you, Megan. Who is it? This Megan Ewing. I know another. Who is this one?
This Megan Ewing is and thank you for saying my name right, because a lot of people just say Megan and just forget about the A. Like there's an A in there. So thank you for that. This Megan Ewing is she's a lot. She's a lot in a jar that cannot be sealed.
I love
I'm
it.
someone, yeah. So like I'm someone who always thinks outside the box. I am an extrovert, but as get further into my motherhood, I feel like I am turning into an introvert and just being a mom. I was all about friends and having fun, and now I'm like, I want to have fun and do like messy crafts with my kids. I love to talk. I love to have meetings. I love nature. I'm a huge nature person. I'm a lot. I'm a lot.
I love it. I love what you said. I like to say that I am the most introverted extrovert that you probably will ever meet. Like I'm the only child. So I had a big imagination. I would play with myself and like talk
Yes.
like my teddy bears if they were my friends. So I love to
Yes.
talk. But at the same time, like when my social media is like empty and depleted, I'm like, okay, go home, please. Like this is
Yeah.
where this is where it is. But 100%, we're gonna talk, we're gonna have fun, but then
Yes.
I need to drive in silence when I leave.
That part, like a lot of people would be shocked to know this, but I am not a neighbor person, and not in a rude way. It's just I talk all day long, or I'm in such a vibe of just being silent to where when I get home, I don't really want to talk. I don't want to do that. I just want to go in the house and just be quiet. Well,
I
which
want
you
to be
can now.
quiet. I actually I find like my happy place riding in the car in silence.
Yes.
I feel like it's the most quiet that we're gonna get, especially with two boys in the house.
Ooh.
And so my mother likes to laugh because she's always like, if she's on the phone with me or she's around the kids, she's like, "Do you not hear them?" And I'm like, "I zone them out."
Yes. Yes. Mine are a little too little right now to be zoned out until it's like the fifth meltdown. But yes, when we like once I get my second child to sleep, my husband is like downstairs and I'm upstairs, and once I lay him down, I'm out. Like I'm done. I'm my
Now, are
body
you
can't
a
be
do
up
not
any
disturb
longer.
type girl, like on your phone?
Am I what?
A do not disturb type girl.
Oh, honey, yes. I have that set. I have an alarm that tells me that my phone is about to be on D&D at 9 o'clock. All my
Okay.
apps are off. I have
And
to
what time
ask
does it come
permission.
back?
Yes, I have to ask permission to go back onto my apps. Like I'm like, okay, bro, like this is my quiet time. Don't take that away from me. But it is really good because it helps with your screen time.
So I do 10 p.m. to 8 a.m. Do not
Oh.
disturb.
Mhm.
And like everybody knows, if you don't call me if it's an emergency, call Jesus because I'm asleep. And let me take it a step further. My phone also stays on silent. I do
Oh.
not have it on vibrate. I do not have a
Mm.
sound on. My phone stays on silent 24/7. So
Okay, mine is on vibrate. I've never had the tone on, but mine is always on vibrate, and even then, I don't even hear it sometimes.
yes, I think that it's so powerful to be able to kind of disconnect. We live in a world where it's always going, 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 and it's
Yes.
never a time where we can just kind of relax and just have a moment of peace, because if it's not your
Yeah.
phone, it's your emails. If it's not your emails, it's something for the kids. If it's not something for the kids, it's work. If it's not work,
Yeah.
it's school. If it's not school, it's always something. So just
Always.
trying to have that moment is just so important to me.
Yes, and that's something that I constantly try to get into and make sure that I'm good at. Some days are better than others. Even I, the D&D like lover, there are times when I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm going to be on TikTok for 3 hours. Like I need
I
that
just need
quiet
it.
time. Yeah, it's like I just like TikTok teaches me so many things that I've learned, like different ways to cook, things to do with my kids, places to go. So it's not like I'm doing nothing. Like I'm actually learning. But if it's not that, then it's working on a reel for work or working on some kind of a post or an email for work. Like, woo! So when June comes, honey, my husband and I are going on vacation for a week. And yeah, D&D for real.
I love that. I love that. So let's go into that. I was about to go
Okay.
another way, but then you said that. Tell me about vacationing, and what are your tips? Is this a thing that you do, that you make a yearly thing? Like, I
Mhm.
know some people feel like they do like one vacation, or like some people do what they can afford, which I totally get.
Yeah.
I am the kind of girl, like, in a perfect world, I need like a couple's trip, a family trip, a me trip, a mother daughter trip, a friend's trip.
Hmm.
And like, that's just like, that's the life that, like, where I am in my life right now. So
Yes.
what are your travel requirements? And tell me all about it.
Okay, so my clients teach me. They've taught me my whole career. And so after I had my first, this couple that I work on, they're like, "Oh my God, you have to do this." So you have to do I think it's every 2 years you and your husband go away. And then you do the date every 2 weeks or 2 months, like you can maneuver those. So we were doing that really well. Like we first went away when my first one was like 1.5 to 2. We went to Ocean City for 3 days, and 3 days and 3 nights. And oh my goodness, just the reconnection was just beautiful. That's something that I'm very big on, and I'm a summer baby. So and I now own my own business. So I don't want to be stuck in this room. I want to be gone. If we can do a day trip, let's go. If we can have a
Yeah.
weekend where we're both off, let's all go. Last year and the year before, we took we did a whole family trip to Ocean City, and that was beautiful. And so my tip is find what works for either just you or you and your partner and make that a thing. We try to check in with each other even when our lives are crazy. But I'm telling you, that trip with you and your partner, if you have one, the reconnection is so wild. You don't hear crying. You don't have that. Your heart rate's at 200 miles per hour because the kid is crying. One needs a nap. One's hungry. One's sweaty. Like you coast, like we took our regular beach bag. We had Uno, we had a few fun drinks for the beach, we had our snacks, I had a book, and I was out there. I probably read my book for like 3 hours on the beach while my husband was working on his thing. And it was a great reset. So that's my biggest tip if you have a partner. If it's just you, honey, you got no excuse. Go do day trips, go do weekend trips, go travel, go hiking. Get that recharge. Hiking is definitely a really good recharge just because even though there are bugs, you find a waterfall, you find a lake, you find a really cool bench. Like there are just so many cool things that you can do. You can even take yourself on a date and do classes. Like I want to take a pottery class. And so
That would be fun.
okay, there's one in Philly that I've been stalking. So do that. Take yourself on dates like that, or do a little self care. Just really sit down and think about who are you now. Because like I said, before I had kids, honey, I was wild. I wanted to be with my friends all the time. I loved to go dancing. I wanted to do this. I wanted to do that. And then once I became a mom, you kind of get stuck in that realm. You get stuck in being a mom and that day-to-day life, and then you lose your identity. And it's not really a negative thing, but what happens when your kids grow and graduate and go to college, and if you and your partner are still together or whatever's going on, you two have to relearn each other. So why wait 20 years when you can do that periodically throughout the years? So those are my little like travel-y tips. And also get on a plane. Get on a plane. Get out of here.
I love it. I love it. I love experiences.
Yeah.
I feel like it's something that when my children speak about like trips that we've done and things like that, they speak about that far more than anything that I can buy them.
Yeah.
We can go to Target, I can buy all the V-Bucks in the world. That's not what they're talking about when it's like go time. But those experiences, they will last and they do last. And it definitely warms my heart when I hear them and they're like, well, this is what I want to do, or this looks fun, this looks like that. So I definitely get that. That takes us to like something else that you said. I am really, really, I suck at self-care. I'm a self-proclaimed fixer, and I want to kind of be what everybody needs and try to take care of everybody. And I told my therapist this week. I think that is like such a form of trauma. Like she asked me how I was doing, and I said, are you asking me like real life how am I doing, or do you want like the superficial answer? Because the superficial answer is finding yourself. Like I'm good. But like the real life answer, like inside, I'm a hot mess. However, I know that I don't have time to deal with anything that I have going on in real life because life does not stop. And so she taught me like a couple different tips that I've been working on. Like I started working out, and everybody jokes me because I hate working out. I want to go and get surgery and call it a day. But I got downloaded this workout app and I do this AI 7-minute workout every day. It's not a lot, but for me, it was all about the consistency and trying to get that going. So I've been doing that for 3 weeks. I also do meditation every day. The meditation is 5 minutes. It's not a whole lot, but like I'm just trying to add to this thing called self-care. But your whole business is self-care.
Yes.
So tell the viewers what your business is, what you do for a living, all the things, and help me out. Give me some self-care tips because I told you I'm not a hot mess. But I would like to go back to my therapist and say, oh, I picked up something else. So tell me.
Well, let's backtrack just for a hot second. When you talked about when your therapist asked you how you're doing, that is one of the biggest things that I've made sure to tell my clients, especially after my first son, that when people ask you how are you doing, they don't really care about how you're doing. They want to do the formality of, I'm good, how are you? And then you move on, and then they talk about themselves or you talk about yourself. So I had always told my clients, especially after my first with going through postpartum, that I was like, if you're going to ask me how I'm doing, I'm not going to answer to make you feel better. I'm going to answer the real answer of what I have. So I made sure to tell everyone, you want to know? Okay, here we go. And that was also a form of healing as well as, oh, you went through this, or, oh, you know someone that also went through this. And so you have those kind of things. So my advice when someone is asking you how they're doing, how you're doing, say, this is really what's going on. It's so refreshing because like at the conference that we were at, I was talking about when you don't say what's going on or you're holding all these traumas, your muscles hold on to that. And then after a while, we just become this crazy, I want to fight everyone or I'm going to run you off the road person. And that's why it starts right there with, how are you doing? So yes, please always do that. If anyone asks, always tell them. With that, I own Namaste My Day. So I have been a massage therapist since I was 18. I went from cosmetology life to massage life in a week. And so I'm also like you, where I want to fix everyone. I want to make sure everyone feels okay. I want to be that person for you. And so it just carried on into my profession. And once I did the first day of class, I did my first massage. I was like, this is it. I don't want to touch hair. I want to do body work. And then after a while, I was like, everyone's telling me I should own my own business. I don't want any parts. And then I did. I opened my own business, and it's just been a wonderful. Within the first year in 2022, I held my first event, which was teaching couples how to give each other massages at home. And that's just something that I was able to come up with because I've taught my husband all these years how to work on me. Why not teach other people? And my clients would always say, ugh, if you would teach my husband, they only give me 2 minutes, or vice versa. If you would teach my wife, their hands always hurt. So I was like, okay, I'm going to teach them. So we hosted an event, and it was beautiful. I brought everyone together that I knew in business. So I had organic skincare line. I had a charcuterie business. I had a juicing business. I had Kevin Ewing photography there. I had 4 massage therapists there. I had a sound bowl tech. I had a yoga instructor. I wanted to teach everyone that came for that date night everything about wellness and how to give yourself your own personal self-care. And it was great. I had a couple tell me that I changed their marriage just by teaching everyone, because that was the biggest point of the whole event, was to teach you positive communication between each other. So not, God, that's too hard, or you're not going any longer. It's okay, so that's a little too deep. If you could just move, or I'll move, like talking together, talking to each other, not at each other. And so that's really what it's been. And then since then, I didn't realize either, but my friends and I held another event in December of 23, another wellness event. And it was kind of the same thing. We had all these vendors, we had yoga, we had sound bowl, like even had breath work, which is insane. I didn't get to try that, but I definitely want to get into that. Breath work is becoming much more mainstream, and I definitely want to be educated in that more. But I know people that have done it to where you're working on your breathing techniques, and some people get lobster claws because the breathing gets so intense that your muscles are like contracting constantly, and it's just, I've heard it's fantastic. So yeah, so Namaste started with that, and then I wanted to give love to my prenatal people. I wanted to give love to the people who have also lost some babies while being pregnant, no matter what part of their trimesters. I wanted to love on them. I wanted to love on my TMJ dysfunction people. So it's like, I'm like you, where I just want to fix, and I want to love, and I want to help, but I also want to do it in other pieces. I don't just want to be a massage therapist that's in a room. I want to be a massage therapist that you see my logo and you're like, oh, she did TMJD. And someone's like, oh, what's that? Or, oh, she did my prenatal massage and I was able to lay on my stomach. How were you able to do that? Like, it's just those simple things where I want to be different than other massage therapists. I don't really want a wellness center at all. I really don't, because that's what a lot of us do. We all break out, we want a wellness center, and boom, there it is. I don't really see Namaste being a wellness center. So, what I can give you an advice on for self care, love, is anything that makes your brain stop, anything that makes your heart rate slow down is self care. Anytime you can just turn on your favorite song and sing that song so loud, honey, that's self care. That's doing something that your adolescents used to love to do. If you can turn on your favorite song and maybe even dance while you're singing so loud while you're cleaning your house, that's also self care. That's self love. So, anything that you can do to slow everything down and enjoy in that moment, That's perfect. It doesn't have to always be spending money.
That's so true. I love a good shower concert. I feel like I sound the best.
Yeah.
But I also love karaoke. So in my mind, I sound just like Whitney Houston or Beyonce. Can't nobody tell me anything. So I love it. I love it. I love it. But you also said something that touched on like the purpose of the Millennial Misses. The Millennial Misses, I created it because it was like, listen, we are doing the darn thing and we aren't doing the traditional thing. We aren't sticking to the traditional route of life, right? Getting a job, staying at a job for 30 years, and or being a stay-at-home mom. Like, gone are those days. We are
Yes.
actually out here creating a lane for ourselves and being unapologetic about it, right?
Yeah.
Like, I am intentionally being unapologetic about
Yes.
this amazingness that I have going on.
Yes.
And so you kind of talking about how you did your business and you didn't want it to be that, that definitely fits perfect into the purpose of Millennial Misses. So I love hearing that. And exactly why I wanted you to come on to kind of talk to the viewers. Tell me how you balance it all. I know, listen, we got on the call and I just like dropped all types of stuff onto you. Like, I think people, I mean, especially social media, like think about it, like people get on social media and they're like, oh my God, you're doing such a great job. And it's like, girl, behind closed doors, I am I'm in the ocean and like it's
Uh-huh.
up to here.
Mhm. Oh
But
yeah.
we are trotting along. So how do you balance it all? Whatever that looks like.
Well, I'm gonna be honest, I'm not great at it. I'm gonna be very honest, I'm not great at it. At one point, I was very good at it, of balancing it all, being on D&D, like not answering clients, which that's still a thing. I do not answer any of my clients. Um, I do not answer any of my clients after I leave my business. So typically that's like 8 o'clock. So after 8 o'clock, I don't answer anybody until 9 a.m. And that's emails and all. You can get an email at 2:30 in the morning that I'm typing up, but it will not send to you until 9 a.m. My husband, I have to tell you, he is such a saint. And if it wasn't for him, I think I would definitely drown and I wouldn't be able to balance anything. He definitely helps a lot. My family, they also watch my boys on the weekends while we both are working. But how I'm able to balance better is I'm asking for help. I'm reaching out to people. I'm giving other people jobs to do while I can do work, body work. I think that's the biggest thing is asking people to be a part of your team or asking people who have already done it or whatever else to give you advice. That's how I'm able to balance it. And I do watch a lot of videos and I do listen to a lot of self-help books. And I think just an accumulation of all of that is how I'm able to balance better, not balance it all perfectly.
The ask for help is a big one. I don't
Yeah.
do a good job at asking for help. I could
Mm-hmm.
literally be like crying a river while
Mm-hmm.
texting somebody, like, hope you have a great day. And it's
Yeah.
like, I'm not gonna ask for help. And that
Yeah.
I need to stop saying that. I'm gonna get better with that because that is why like in the world I feel like we're so conditioned to just be okay. We're so
Yeah.
conditioned to keep going and keep going and keep going. um and it's like, when do you take a moment? True story, I was a kid, well, not a kid, I was in college. And like we had to move abruptly, and I like came home right before final, and I came home to bring stuff home, and then I found out that we had to move abruptly, and I didn't even like take a minute to blink. And
Mm-hmm.
like even when I like tears were about to come in my eyes, I like told myself, like, you better not. We don't have time.
Yeah.
We don't have
Yeah. Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
you do that later. And
Mm-hmm.
like I remember like not crying, not doing anything, and like 2 days later, like driving across the Bay Bridge, like screaming and hollering, like getting it out. But
Yeah.
I say that to say, like, let's normalize it. That is trauma and that is traumatic.
Heck yeah,
that
absolutely.
that is like a coping mechanism of
Yeah.
how we're handling things. And
Mm-hmm.
like, yeah, I don't want to be like that. Like, and that's me. I'm not judging anybody else, but I'm saying like I see how that has started even when I was younger than that, as a kid. And then I just see how it continues to go with my children. And so I always try to, how like when we grew up, like parents used to say, shut up that noise if I give you something to cry about, like
Yeah.
sayings like that. It's
Mm-hmm.
kind of like, no, I want to honor you having this moment right here.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever this moment is, I sat down and I did. Have you ever done the love languages with your children? Well, your children are kind of younger. I
Not
did
yet.
the love language test with my oldest son, my 11-year-old. And
Okay.
it was really important because I feel like we think we know what we're giving our children, but like
Mm-hmm.
they know best. So I did the test.
Yeah.
It's really good. It's a free test online. I suggest everybody go do it. But like they ask questions that you ask your child. So like he answered the questions. It was like just a preference. But the one that was his top was not what I would have expected. And so
Okay.
there it wasn't. Say it again.
I said okay.
It was not the one that I was expecting. And so for me, I was like, I'm glad I did it, number one. But number two,
Mm-hmm.
like I'm 100% like honoring whatever space we're in, whatever that feeling
Mm-hmm.
is, we're going to honor that for a second. And
Yep.
then we can process it and we're not just going to brush it under the rug.
Oh yeah, I've only started asking for help maybe for a year and a half, maybe. I am very much sit the same way. If I was going through something, I would give myself one day to feel horrible about it, and then I was done. We had a plan, we were moving on. So that was something that I had to like get over too, or you're just wasting time. So I did that for, for probably up until a year and a half ago, where I would just give myself a day. Like that is horrible. If something happened to you, you only giving yourself a day. That's insane. But 3 years ago, I read a book, and it's called Untamed by Glennon Doyle, and it's just like a whole bunch of things. But there was one question in there that literally broke me, and it was, at what age did we learn as women to please? At what age? And I was hysterical. I was hysterically crying. Like I was just like, huh. And then she continues, but I was stuck on that. Even now, I was stuck on that for so long. Like, at what age did I learn how to please? And she'll say, like, okay, well, you want friends to like you. How do they like you? Do you want to be like them so that way you're popular? Do you want to be your own person? Oh, but you might get bullied. Your parents. Your parents want you to be this good kid. How do you be a good kid? You get good grades and you listen to them. But what if you don't listen to them, and what if you get bad grades? Like it's just like you were supposed to be or raised on the straight and narrow. And so from the early age of probably when you were born, that's when you're taught how to please. I want to, like my youngest, he wants to eat toilet paper at the moment. And so like I take it home, like, no, no, we don't eat that, but he might want to, so it's like we are constantly steering people into a realm of pleasing. And yeah, that, I think once I read that, then everything in me started to just slowly change.
I think it's unfortunate because it's like as children, we oftentimes want to fill whatever voids our parents don't are like lacking, like whatever
Yeah.
like you wanna make them happy.
Yeah.
My son does that all the time. He's like, when I get older, I'm gonna buy you a house or I'm gonna do
Oh,
this. And I'm like, that's not your responsibility, buddy.
yeah.
Like we gonna shift these narratives.
Yes.
Like people get big and then they're like, oh, that's the first thing they did is buy their parents. Listen, that's not what you want to have to do for mommy. I appreciate you. I love you. But you
Mm-mm-mm.
don't have to provide the basic necessities that I should be able to provide for myself.
Oh yeah, I definitely, when growing up, my parents, mostly my dad, would always say, like, if I ever need, she's not going to put me in a nursing home. She's going to take care of me. And I swear to you, from a kid to now, I was just like, I'm not doing that. Like, I don't know where you thought that's it. That's in my journey. I'm not doing that. But it's like trauma after trauma after trauma, repeat after repeat after repeat. And it just keeps going until somebody's like, no, I'm going to break that mold.
That's a good one. That's taking us to how does that look, trying to break generational trauma for your children and not repeating the cycle?
Ooh, ugh, that's a good one. Um, you know what? I had to speak up for myself, because with being a pleaser, we swallow everything, we grit our teeth. And so I had to start speaking up. And I have no problem with doing that, but with certain people, you just don't. Be like, you are taught, absolutely not, that's disrespectful. And so I had to start speaking up and start being that person that either I'm speaking up for myself or somebody else. And for my kids, I have to be strong for them. And I want them, if they're like, Mom, you were tripping. Oh, really? Okay, let me take a deep breath. Okay, how? How am I affecting you? Like, I want my kids to be very open with me as much as possible, because I don't want them to feel like they have to hide. That's a lonely world. That is a lonely world to hide from your parents. And that's a big trauma. So that's how I'm starting to break that mold of generational curses, that I want my kids to be open as much as possible, and also to give them that. Like, I've been looking up a lot of those things too, and just like, there's a family that I watch where this mom will sit on the couch and she'll put a pillow in between the two of them, and her daughter will tell her whatever outlandish thing is going on, and the mom's not showing her facial expressions, but she's listening. And it's just like, at one point that pillow's going to come down and they can actually sit and have that conversation. And I think my husband's the same way, of, we don't want to continue what we grew up through. Like, we don't want that, if you don't stop crying, I'm going to give you something to cry about. No. Like, I've started to do with my oldest, okay, take a deep breath. And I'm doing it and I'm blowing on him and he's watching me like, what are you doing? So I want to implement what I give my clients. I want to implement that in my kids. And I want them to know that you can speak up even to your parents. You can let us know if we're being crazy. That's okay. We're going to take it in, and then we're going to discuss why we got to that point. But I never want you to just be like, swallow the fact that I'm yelling at you so much and you don't know why.
I definitely would agree. So my mom had me young. So in many ways we grew up together.
Yeah.
I never was with her. Like, I never had the you can't say how you feel. In many aspects, people definitely thought that I was too grown because I was able to say some things, like I could ask why. My mother taught me at a young age, it's not what you say, but it's how you say it.
Mm-hmm.
So it is okay to ask an adult a question if it's
Mm-hmm.
respectful.
Mm-hmm.
I always knew that as a kid. And but in my adult life, I found myself, number one, still two things. I had a hard time holding people accountable that I'm close to. Somebody that I
Yes.
don't know, somebody that I have no relationship with, guess what? I can lay you out, hold you accountable. This is what you said, this is what you need to do, and you need to get it together now.
Yeah.
But somebody that I know, I would struggle and I would sort of kind of go without, so that, again, the people pleaser, like, and people wouldn't necessarily think that about me, but it would just be like, I don't want this relationship to go south just because I say something. So guess what, we're just not. And
Right.
lately I'm like, yeah, no, we're not doing that anymore. I'm learning to speak up, and I'm learning to do it in a way that honors myself, and not just, like, I can't just think about the other person. Like, oh, you have this going on, you have that going on. Listen, I get it. Life is hard, but I need to
Mhm.
get it out, and I need to get it out now. Um,
Yes.
so that's the one thing. The second thing is, as an adult, I found myself sort of kind of going overboard with trying to do overcompensate for the things that I didn't have as a kid. Not just like physical things, but trying to like break these generational curses and like trying to do things differently and trying to like do all of this stuff. That for a second, I think I sort of kind of forgot the good that came from the trauma. And
Mm-hmm.
so, because let's be clear, something positive comes out of everything. Some,
Yes.
and we sometimes take that for granted and just say, I didn't get anything but negative. And I'm just
Mm-hmm.
such a glass half full type person. Like I think that there is something positive, even if the only thing positive you could think of is what not to do. That's still something positive.
Yes.
I've been embracing some of the things that made me who I am that wasn't necessarily the best conditions, but
Mm-hmm.
something good came out of it.
Right.
Just
Yeah.
my little tidbit.
No, I definitely need to digest that actually. uh, because it is true. I feel like I just had this conversation with somebody else, but we only see the trauma, but the trauma does mask everything else. And so it's not always that you're not seeing the good, it's that your brain literally is protecting you. So it's protecting you from all that you may have experienced, and you only know a little bit. But what your brain knows is like, nope, 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 we're not going to do that. You know this part, we're not going to dive deep into that unless you go into therapy and they actually ask you the questions and, make you go through things. Like when I was in therapy last fall, she asked me some question and I was like, I have to go. Like, I was like, okay, we're gonna end our session today. That is enough. And so, but it's the same, like a lot of people love hypnotherapy. And hypnotherapy is one of those where obviously it's hypnosis. So you're in a twilight, but you're not really, your brain is letting you go with whatever they're asking you. And it's very subconscious, is what I'm trying to say. Um, but what you're saying, yeah, you've got to let your brain do that to give you the good, because we
And you have
just
to be
always get stuck.
vulnerable.
Yes.
Vulnerability is needed, and like a
Yes.
sense of honesty. I think that
Mm-hmm.
can come like when you come to peace
Mm-hmm.
what has happened in your past. I
Yeah.
think if you're still angry or you're still upset, you still have all the things. That could be a very uncomfortable seat to sit in.
Yeah.
But like for instance, for me, we struggled financially as a kid,
Mm-hmm.
but growing up, that made me be a saver. Like
Mm-hmm.
that made me be like, okay, I need to learn what is a credit score and what is
Yeah.
the highest credit score I can get. And
Yep.
what do I need to do to get the highest credit score?
Yes.
Because I don't ever want to be in a situation where this can happen to me. So
Exactly.
what do I have to do? So that's why
Mm-hmm.
I'm just kind of like, I think it was traumatic, but at the same time, and sometimes I even have to remind myself, like, okay, girl, you're going overboard. Like you just saved and saved and saved. And every now and then it is okay to splurge and treat yourself good. Like at the end of the
Yes.
day, like, come on, don't go
Yes.
overboard. That's where the trauma comes back. When it be like,
Yes.
nope, nope, nope.
No, no, no. Remember what happened when you did. Yes,
Nope.
and you have to be transparent. You have to be very transparent. If you're going to go on one end, you got to look at it from the other end too.
Yes, nobody likes to do that. But listen,
No.
it's a work in progress. Every day we aim to be
Mm-hmm.
better. Every day we strive
Yes.
to be better. That's all we can
Mm-hmm.
do, you know?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And just try to be as
Hey,
honest as possible. And if you can't be honest, then don't talk about it. You know, figure it out on your own, journal on your own. If you're so angry and you just can't understand why, grab a book, grab a piece of paper, grab your phone, put it in your notes. I promise you, after hit period or you turn your phone off, you're not going to feel angry. It's such a weird relief, but you're not.
Yeah, you got to release that. You got to release that.
Mhm. Absolutely.
Well, this has just been so amazing. Tell the viewers, where can they find you? Did you get an award or something?
So I was nominated again for Hartford's Best. My business was nominated for Hartford's Best Alternate Wellness Center. And last year I was in third place for honorable mention. This year, this year I was nominated second place. So yes, I am hoping that I will be first place, because let's just be honest, you don't get to see a lot of people like us win things. And so the fact that I've worked as hard and as long as I have, and I never saw Namaste with any of these novelties. I really didn't. I never saw a magazine feature, podcast, blogs, all kinds of things. I just wanted to be a massage therapist. That's all I wanted. And so knowing that Namaste has a chance to be more, and um, peers are voting, I'm so here for it. I'm so grateful for it. So yes, so that's that's what's been going on with Namaste.
I love it. I love it. Where can people find you?
So you can find me mostly on Instagram at Namaste My Day _. My business is also on Facebook. I'm not as active there. I'm more active on Instagram than I am on Facebook, but all the names are the same. Email Namaste My Day LLC@gmail.com. And then my website is also www.namastemyday.info. Very different, but it's .info.
And where are you located? Where people want to come and get a massage.
Oh, yes. So I am located in Bel Air off of 924. It's in a cute little strip all the way at the end. But yeah, if you want to book with me, I do, and I love saying this, I do have a new client booking fee that is $50. It's one time and it goes towards your session. I promise you it's only one time. But I love taking in new people. I love educating. I love talking. So if you have any kind of questions for me, please feel free to reach out.
Also, we're going to be okay with the fee is the fee.
Yes, we are going to be.
The
Yes,
price
and
is
that
the
keeps,
price.
so
You
that,
would like to
so with,
go. You're going to pay the
yes,
$50 and be blessed.
you want to have somebody that has a holding fee for booking your appointment, because it holds you accountable to make sure that you come in, and if not, then you lose that. Who wants to lose money, especially in this day and age?
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, I definitely thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to come and talk about all things being great and how we can continue to encourage other women to continue to be intentionally unapologetic about who they are and just living out all the things that God has placed inside them. I definitely appreciate you. Can't say that enough. Thank you, viewers, for taking the time to listen and to tune in. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and send some friends. Comment. We love comments. Comment
Yeah.
and let us know what you think. And most importantly, go see Megan, because guess what?
Yes. Trace,
Namaste.
thank you so much.
You gotta
Sorry.
relax.
Oh, yes, you got to relax. Take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. Just count to 3 as you're taking that breath in, count down from 3 as you're letting it out. I really want to thank you, Trinae, for having me on your podcast. I really appreciate it, because I'll tell you, when you own a business, you have people that are like, "Oh, you think you're better," and really, that's not it. No one thinks that they're better. They just want to help. They just want to show you, if you're on the fence, that you can do this, and
I
it's
really hate when
your
people say that.
what?
Like that you think you're better. I'm sorry. I tell my children every day, nobody is
Yes.
better than you. You are better than
No.
everybody. And I say that simply because you are not in competition with anybody. The only
No.
competition that you are in is with yourself. You are
Yes.
trying to be better than you the day before. So guess what? Don't
Yes.
see anybody else. Tunnel vision. And I
Exactly.
think that I'm better than me from yesterday. Sorry.
Yes. Yes. Always, like, you are not I really am not in competition with anyone, even when I just said I want to be voted, first place. Yes, I do, but if you didn't hear me, third, second, my goal is first. I want to be better than Namaste.
Better.
Huh?
You're in competition with yourself. You're pushing.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm in competition with me. So my business was going that way and I wanted to go higher. So please, if you want to open up your own business, please do it for yourself. Don't do it for anybody else. The ideas that come, you can share it with people, but honey, they came to you for a reason. Always act on it. Always.
Absolutely. Thank you guys for tuning in to the Millennial Misses. Until the next time, I will see you then.
Yes. Bye.